In today's episode, we're going to be discussing mental health, mainly from the lens of an Eastern medicine perspective and a bit with Shane's experience personally and also through professionally through his many, many clinical years. We also really want to understand what it is, how to treat it, how to support it, and how to move on from mental health. So I think there's a lot of stigma still around mental health, unfortunately. But I guess the best place to start is actually what is mental health, have a bit of a framework on what we're talking about here, because I feel like it can be very objective as well and subjective. Sorry, very subjective around like everyone has a bit of a different take on what mental health means for them. So, yeah, what's the collective definition of mental health in our.
So the standard definition is psychological well-being. So the way you think, the way you feel, so your emotions, your belief systems, your social interactions, all that sort of stuff are in a healthy space. So yeah, your mental health is being able to participate and have clear thoughts, stand like good beliefs, etc. from the standard psychological thing. So it's like having poor mental health is the absence of those things. So the absence of solid thinking foundations, the absence of being able to regulate your emotions, not being able to hold social standards, etc. So it's kind of like it's set up in a way where you can move the bar in any which direction that you want it to move it.
And there's quite a broad spectrum, I guess, of where people might sit on that as well in terms of levels.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah. And so from an Eastern medicine perspective, what would be more the definition of mental health? Is there one?
Where is the mind? Which mind are we talking about?
Right.
Because there's I don't know, something like, if you really total them up, there's 15 minds.
Oh.
In Chinese medicine,
Okay.
but we'll get into that a bit later.
Sounds convoluted.
I'm
already dealing with one.
Yeah, right. I wish. So mental health in China, it doesn't really exist.
Okay.
It's you're either well or you're not as a whole person.
Yep. I mean, you can't separate the mind.
No, you can't separate the mind from the body. If there's a problem with the mind, there's a problem with the body. If there's a problem with the body, there's a problem with the mind. I feel like I say that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically there is no such thing as mental health. There's a huge psychological framework of patterns that will affect a person's mental health, but mental health per se is too isolating.
Yep. I mean, and that makes a lot of sense, really. So what do you see come through the clinic? Because, you run a very busy clinic and you see a lot of people all the time, and probably mental health would be up there in terms of what people come in for. What would be the spectrum of things that people would like under that bucket? We're talking like anxiety, depression, those sorts of things?
Yep.
Or like what else is in that bucket?
Depression, anxiety, trauma, post-traumatic stress disorders, worry, overthinking, not being able to control thoughts.
Yeah. Stress? Do we say stress?
Stress would be in there.
Yeah.
ADHD. Addiction,
Yeah.
I guess, is part that would be
Kind of
under mental health.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably more, but just can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's fine. What do you think? What's the most common thread between all those things that people then on the opposite side are actually seeking instead of whatever's going on for them? Like, what are their main objectives? Like, they're obviously in an anguish, they're in pain, an emotional, mental pain. Sometimes that's also physical, depending what's going on for them, I imagine. But like, do you see a common thread in what people are then seeking? Like, is it like, I know the one big thing that we hear a lot is peace. People are seeking
You just
peace.
answered the question. Yeah. So they're seeking peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Is that what you hear?
Silence.
Is that like the most common thing that you hear?
That or vitality.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I suppose they go hand in hand too, though.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And so tell me more about. Did you say there's 10 minds in Eastern medicine?
Depends on how you count it. So that they classify. There's 5 Shen. which is to each organ. So each yin organ holds a shen, which is shen means mind or it means spirit. Depends on how you want to translate it. So there's the shen of the heart, there's the shen of the lungs, which is called the po. Of the spleen is called the yi, which is like your intent. Of the liver, it's called the hun, which is like cosmic consciousness, would be the Jungian way of explaining that. And then there's the shen of the kidneys, which is called the zhi, which is the willpower. So there's 5 minds. Of those 5, they all come under one, which is called the shen, the big shen. So there's 6 already. So that's like your true self. So like who you really are. Of the po, there's 7 different types of spirits, they call them, within the po, which have got all these like weird names and they're almost like demonic. So it's almost like, it's like the dark side of the ego, I guess, would be it. Then there's three spirits associated with the hun, which is like cosmic consciousness. So different spirits again. It gets a bit convoluted. And then like there's some old Taoist texts that talk about every single organ in the body has its own spirit. So they have their own archetype, their own voice, their own personality, which you sort of see through like the astrological things, like how they give like personality traits to different things. So there's different animals and whatnot. So they do the same thing with the organs. So there's another 12. Like it just goes on. And so like there's so many different aspects of it. But when there's a disharmony with them, it's not the mind that goes, or it could be the mind that goes, but it's the body's affected at the same time. So it's very much, if there's a problem with the mental health, there's a problem with the physical health. And the way to fix the mental health is through the body and treating the patterns of disharmony that show up.
Yeah, because that's going to rebalance the organs, and that, like what you're talking about, like the different energies that are going on for the organs and help bring everything back into harmony. And that
pretty much
affects the mind.
So it takes it from a pattern of disharmony to a pattern of harmony. And that's why like you can have multiple thoughts going on at once as well. So it's like people can be thinking about, like you can be pissed off and ruminating while you're having a joyful, happy conversation with someone.
And that would be related to different organs, like your heart's maybe happy with who you're talking to, but your liver's still pissed off at your dad or something. Huh. Well, that's cool. I never knew that. That's really cool to understand, because I have actually wondered about that. It's like, how can we be so complicated and have so many different feelings at once? But that makes so much sense, actually, when you describe it like that.
And so it's like when I hear, like one of the common things I hear around people with depression is it's like, oh, I don't feel anything. And it's like, it's not true. You just don't feel the full spectrum of things. You've decided to block off everything else except for those particular feelings that you're willing to feel. They just block off the rest of them.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the body-mind separation, which you talk about a lot? Like that, I feel like that's pretty relevant in terms of like speaking about mental health and how to regain a healthy state of self.
So the general rule, so you got to bring it back to yin and yang. So there's yin and yang. So yin is the body, yang is the mind. The nature of the yin is to disintegrate and die off. The nature of yang is to grow and expand. So you've got these two opposing forces that are doing the opposite thing. So the nature of the mind is to continue to develop and grow. The nature of the body is to die and to get sick. And so the two of them are literally moving apart. If they move too far apart, that's it. You're done. It's over. And so, depending on your belief systems, the mind will continue on after it, and then the physical body will just go back into the earth. What happens is whenever we learn something new or we have a new experience, whether it's like watching a TV show or eating a new food or learning a new musical instrument or something, we're causing our mind to grow and develop and get bigger. That comes at a cost at the body. So if you look at it from a Western point of view, you use glucagon for your energy to learn. So feed your brain. So every time you're at school, people like need more sugars because the sugars get restored in the body because your brain uses so much sugar to learn something new. So it depletes our body of that. And so if we're not eating well and we don't have enough nutrients going into our system to support the mind growing, then the body starts to deplete more and more. And so over time, that becomes bigger and bigger. Now, we're at a stage in our life cycles now where we're exposed to so much information, the bodies aren't keeping up with it. So we're exposed to the same amount of information probably in an hour than we were in a lifetime.
Yeah.
With like access to the internet, mobile phones, scrolling, whatever, to what they had, in say the early 19th century, where it takes 3 months for the mail to get interstate.
Yeah.
So you might get
Different.
one newspaper a week
Mm.
or maybe a month. I don't know. Can't remember. I was not that old.
Yeah.
Or
Communication. Letters would take ages.
Yeah, letters would take a month or a couple of weeks at least to get there. Now it's like boom, 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 like instant mail, boom. And so that gets digested. So it's a lot of information for the mind. And so all of that's constantly growing and expanding with all the information. And so the body has to keep up with that. And so we have to have strong physical bodies. And I'm not talking like strong muscles. I'm talking strong connections in our body, strong neurological connections where the fascia is strong, the nervous system's strong, the tendons and the ligaments are strong, not just the musculature, because the musculature actually takes up more energy than, say, the other stuff.
Yeah.
And so if you've got bigger muscles, you've actually got probably less, like your body's burning up energy in a different way. And so that creates a separation between body and mind. And so if the body's super strong, like through strong fascial connections and et cetera like that, you'll actually be more anchored into your body. Your mind will be more anchored in because it's got more
grounded. This is what we mean by being grounded.
And so like really, like again, strong feet will really help anchor into there. And you can look at it physiologically, like there's 100,000 nerve endings in the feet. So if you look at it from purely like a Western point of view, your brain has 100,000 endings. So your mind's supposed to be your brain. I don't think it is, but your feet have 100,000 nerve endings. So it's like having those sensitivity and that groundedness in the feet and the strength in the feet allows the mind to be anchored into the feet. So the more connections you have in your feet, the less energy you got going on upstairs. What happens when you add into the mix things like drugs, where a person can have a really mind expansive moment, like where it's like LSD or weed or whatever, or DMT, where they've had this like light bulb go off, they've seen the fabric of the universe. That takes a lot from the body to be able to process all of that information. And if that doesn't get integrated properly into the body, then over time it creates a larger and larger separation between body and mind. And that's where a lot of mental health stuff comes in, is because one, if you've had a high, you've got to have the low. So one of my questions is, when people come in with depression, is what's the highest high you've had? And they usually know it straight away. Boom, boom. And it's like, oh, I've never been that happy since this happened in my life. And so they haven't been able to integrate that crash from being that high. And it doesn't have to be drugs. It could be, I've had one young teenage girl who had a dream when she was like 9 years old.
Wow.
I can't remember what the dream was about, but she said it was the most incredible dream that she's ever had. And she only ever wished that her life was like that. And she couldn't close that gap. And so she'd been diagnosed with depression from like 10 years old.
Sad.
Yeah. So it could be anything, like it could be the birth of a child or like a new job or whatever. And like life wasn't as good as it used to be back in the day. All that sort of stuff. So there's that. And then the separation also, like with your anxieties, it can cause other physiological symptoms. So you can have shortness of breath, you can have heart palpitations, queasiness, nausea, general discomfort, looping, stuck in the thoughts, all that sort of stuff. So
there's a lot.
There's heaps.
There's so much to it. Yeah. And I so many questions, but one thing that's coming to mind is how you actually I've heard you describe it to people who are always like, oh, like I can't meditate and I can't calm down, I can't calm my mind. And that quite possibly is because the body is too like jumbled up. And actually, because you're saying the way back to it is, through working through the body. So rather than trying to sit and meditate and like be present and
Yeah.
mindful, actually what they need to do is get in their body and get
Yeah.
grounded
Yeah.
and like get this back in
In
harmony.
order. Yeah. Thanks for that reminder, because I've been like on the mind journey as of late and like teaching people like all the tricks from the mind perspective, and I forget about it. So there's so much to it.
There's so much to it.
And so it's like, usually my answer has been, oh yeah, there's too much heat in the body, or maybe there's too much cold in the body, or there is a dysfunction. And so like, yeah, the way to slow the mind is actually through the body. But as of late, like I've been listening to stuff about like just watching your thoughts, and just, if you're aware of your thoughts, you're not actually your thoughts. You're the person that's aware of the thoughts. So that's the mindfulness side of things. But yeah, like one of the best ways is actually just to go back into the body, like pat the body down, do some standing meditation, do some qigong, do some squats, lunges to get into the legs. Like nothing survives the burn of like getting into your legs. Go hike up a mountain, like really push your breath to another level with breath work or like cardio, where it's like really stimulating that to move. But again, it depends on.
And treatment as well, like body work, massage, acupuncture, chiro, all those things will help as well.
Absolutely.
Obviously get acupuncture. No.
Lots of acupuncture.
Lots of it. Yeah, okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. And also I was thinking, you raised a really interesting point about like you want to be really strong in the body. Like the stronger the body is and the healthier the body is, the easier that you can integrate big experiences that happen mentally. So like learning new things, like, there's so much in life that goes on that expands the mind and also the heart. And it's like having that strong body, but like that doesn't necessarily mean just like having good biceps and strong. No. It's like you're talking about like the fascia and the bone structure.
Yeah.
So what are the specific things that you can do to help actually really build that and expand that so that you are creating, a body that can have great mental health and wellness, but also I think that builds your longevity as well.
So things with complex movement. So Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga done properly, not mindlessly. Like it's become a thing. Like yoga is not a place that you go. It's something that you become. Like yoga means union. So it's not about like just going to yoga class. You've got to actually be really present with it. It's not, you don't go there to switch your mind off.
Yeah, well, that's missed a lot. There's not a lot of places that teach the whole philosophy on like the 8 limbs of yoga and what like the whole life. So, like yoga is actually, it's a whole way of being.
Yeah,
basically.
It's like you've got
your whole life.
You've got to be really focused on being in your own body. Whereas if like and I get this feedback a lot of times, is people go to classes and they're like looking at what I know like myself, you're looking at what other people are doing. It's the same going to a Tai Chi class or a Qigong class. Oh, they look different to how I'm doing, or they look different to how the teacher's doing.
So low.
So yeah, exactly. So every body is different. And we've all got our own unique quirks in how our body works. And so it's like being super, super present to how our body works, not pushing through things to like make it look pretty or do any of that. It's to keep the joints strong, keep them stable, especially if you are hypermobile, things like that. It's like you just be really present. And if it's not hard, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a challenge.
Yeah.
I've caught myself on that doing standing meditation.
And that doesn't mean that like going to like a Bikram yoga class and pushing yourself so hard in the sauna that it's hard. It's like holding in the position where your legs are burning and you're holding the strength and the balance, not because you're trying to do it so deep and so hard. It's like finding that sweet spot where it's like you're right on the cusp.
Yeah.
That's where the true transformation lies for body stuff.
Yeah. Why don't you and I always have you after we do our movement and you're always like, oh, my Tai Chi practice. So it's like your mental health thing.
Yeah. Like I've said it for years. Nothing's helped my mental health like Tai Chi had.
Yeah. I love
the other thing that people like is like fascial weight training.
Yeah, I was just about to say I actually really love the weight training and the
Yeah.
squats and the things like that. That like makes me very happy.
Yeah, it's got to be the right type. Again, same thing. It's like if you go just do mindlessly lift weights,
Yeah, it's not the same
it's
thing.
not the same thing.
Yeah. And is there anything else apart from this complex mixed movement or weights or anything else that's going to help really, obviously you've covered like some of the treatments and things, but like what else can people do?
Then it comes down to diagnostics.
Yeah. Okay. What's going on for the individual?
Yeah.
Do they need to adjust their diet and things like that?
What type of depression? What type of anxiety?
Yeah.
What type of ADHD? What is it? And then it's like, then you need to, then the diet changes, then the herbs, then the lifestyle.
Yeah.
All of that
Yeah. Do you want to touch a bit more about lifestyle?
for mental health.
Yeah.
Oof.
What does that mean? Like, I feel like that's like anyone could take that quite subjectively as well. But what do you mean when you talk about lifestyle from Eastern medicine perspective?
Sleep wake cycles would be the first thing. Oh, it's such a big subject.
Yeah. Well, on that, like if someone wanted to dive into it and check their lifestyle things, you've got a really great little audit in school.
Yep.
It's like about half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour
20 minutes.
that you can just do and like assess where your lifestyle is and all the different areas that are covered. Because I think there's quite a lot.
Yep.
9.
Yeah.
And so then you can sort of see where you're at and what you can adjust, where to start to adjust and have a snowball effect on readjusting your lifestyle.
Yep.
We could probably do a whole podcast just on lifestyle.
We could definitely do a whole podcast on lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
lifestyle and mental health, like just as the core basics is regulating your day to boredom, essentially. It's like same thing day in, day out. It will help your mind know what's coming so that it can be prepared for it. And so like going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, eating breakfast at the same time, eating lunch at the same time.
It's not just kids that thrive off routine.
No,
it's just humans.
Yeah. Having that set routine is very helpful. And then just following that natural flow. That's probably all I'm going to mention on that.
Okay.
Because there's so much to it.
Let's do another whole podcast on lifestyle. Sorry. Do you want to touch a bit on your own journey on mental health? Because you had quite a journey on it.
Sure. Well, it's like one of the most common questions I get. How did the white guy get into Chinese medicine?
He's really Asian on the inside.
Truly am. Well, my friends used to call me Jim Beam because I was white on the outside and black on the inside. That was what happens when you hang out with Islanders and Asians.
Yeah.
All right. So mental health. So yeah, like everyone knows I was a drug addict. And so I ended up borderline. I say schizophrenia these days. I never used to. It was like drug-induced psychosis. But the drug-induced psychosis didn't go away. So I had lots of voices. And technically, if I had spoken to psychiatrists, and I've spoken to psychiatrists since that said, yes, you would have been diagnosed with schizophrenia. So I was basically borderline schizophrenic. I had severe depression. I had severe anxiety. There were moments of like obsessive compulsive disorder where things like I'd have to check door locks and things 100 fucking times. That didn't go on for that long though. All that sort of stuff, suicidal ideations. There was a suicide attempt in there. Anxiety to the point where I couldn't drive my car. Like I'd be going somewhere, I have to pull over on the side of the road and just fucking sit there for 3 hours. Depression to the point where I'd come home from work and just burst into tears and just cry for no reason. And that stuff like that was
How long was that?
Years. I'd have to say 6 or 7 years of that.
That's a long time.
Maybe even 8.
And what was the turning point for you?
Finding Chinese med.
Yeah. That's what led you to it.
Yeah. Like, so basically I had a manic episode that I was driving in my car, having an absolute tantrum and like slamming into my steering wheel and like hitting the roof and just going absolutely bonkers. And I was like, I need a sign from God. Like I need something. I need help. And a radio ad came on in my car going, become a personal trainer in 6 weeks. And so I was always interested in fitness and sport. I was like, fuck, I could do that. 6 weeks. Like I'd never finished high school, but I can definitely do 6 weeks. So I went and did that. And there was 2 teachers there who saw something in me that no one else had seen. And both of them made a direct point of saying something to me about that. One of them saw my interest in science and the other one saw my interest in personal development. So one of them just said to me, just like, keep, like, whatever you're looking for, you found it, just keep going. And another guy said, he gave me, told me to get Robin Sharma's book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
That was
So that was the very first book I read on personal development. I didn't finish in 6 weeks because I smoked meth and I couldn't do my final exams, but I'd fallen in love with the human body. And so I went and studied massage for 6 months and I finished that. And then I went back and finished the personal training. But at the end of that year, I was still really anxious, still really depressed, really struggled socially. So like that whole mental health thing of the social thing, I was an absolute social, can't say retard, but social retard. I couldn't communicate.
Antisocial, social.
Yeah. I was like, I was like, I couldn't, like, it was just like, oh, hi, I'm Shane. Like, I couldn't talk to people without alcohol or drugs. And so that happened, that was the end of 2006. And I was like, oh, I needed something else. I felt stupid for not finishing year 12. So I went back and did year 12 and I studied psychology. I studied psychology, biology, English literature, health, and philosophy. And that introduced me to things like Buddhism and Taoism and like Plato and Socrates and all those cool dudes from like way back in Greek history. And I started to get, like, I'd always had this interest in philosophical conversations because that's what, when we used to get high, that's what we used to discuss, was like philosophy, the art of war, all that sort of stuff. And then what happened was my brother was going to jail at the end of that year and he gave me a book on Chinese medicine and drug addiction. And that was it. I was like, oh my God, that's my answers. It fucking literally, it was like it was written to me, for me. Went and met Gost and here we are.
You put you on your path.
18, 19 years later.
Yeah.
Nearly 20 years later.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a big journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where it started, but like, doesn't mean I was better quickly. It took years.
It does take time.
It took years. Like, it took years of work.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I had answers, but then I put in the hard yards.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that people have not seen for me. And like, one of the biggest things for me was, like, I heard the saying, an idle mind is the devil's plaything for mental health. And I was like, oh, like, I just need to use my mind because it's not being used enough. And so it's using me, sort of thing. And because I wasn't being stimulated in a way that I wanted to be. So I needed to use the mind. So the mind was using me instead of me using it. Because it's a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool.
And so, yeah, and then 2 certificates plus multiple other certificates.
You're a bit of a study hole.
three university degrees.
I thought I was a course junkie. You take the cake.
Oh, definitely a course junkie. I haven't done anything.
So you have done your pulse course? What are you talking about? You just got 2 pulse courses. I know, because I stayed home with the kids. Thank you. No, I think it's an amazing job. And I think it's a great point to put out that, like, it took time. Like, you had quite a severe problem that went on for a long time. And it actually took quite a few years of dedicated work and the right mentors and the right support to really get yourself to a very, very solid place. And I think some people underestimate that. Like, I feel like we see a lot of people these days who expect like a silver bullet for things that have been like chronic issues, or even not even that chronic issues, and are just expecting like
the amount of people that come in
that I'm not sure why. It's difficult to understand.
The people that come in that want like a miracle for, like, let's just use PTSD, like an actual diagnostic of post-traumatic stress disorder that they've been given by a psychiatrist, and they expect one session of acupuncture to fix it.
possible, but it's highly unlikely.
It's not, I don't think I wouldn't even say it's possible.
Not with those things.
Maybe for a couple of hours,
Yeah.
you'll get relief, but it ain't going to fix it.
Yeah. It takes time.
It takes time. And it's like, you got to, like, from a physiological point, discharge the nervous system. You know, you got to rebuild the nutrient deficiencies in the system. You got to do the cycle. Like, it's not just Chinese medicine that's going to fix it. Like,
No,
I
it's
didn't,
all
I
the access
and
to
I
it.
didn't just do Chinese medicine. Like, I'd worked with art therapists. I worked with transpersonal counselors. I worked with nutritionists. I worked with AOD counselors. I
Yeah.
worked
And
with
you did Tai Chi and
kinesiologists, Tai Chi, Qigong,
change your diet.
about 15 different types of meditation.
Yeah.
I had a specific mentor that I did everything that he told me to do for at least 10 years. So, you know, it's a dedication, and I spent so much money on it. Like, not like my university degrees cost me over $150,000. But like when I was chasing Yost around Australia, I literally chased him around Australia. Like, I flew into
And to Bali.
That's how I met you. I chased him to Sydney. I chased him to Brisbane. I chased him. I think I even went to bloody WA at one point.
But you knew you were onto something.
Yeah. And so it's like, I spent so much money. Like, it'd have to be, I reckon, to be close to $1 million I've spent on my own mental health.
Yeah.
And trying to figure it out and be able to help other people in that process.
Yeah. Your education, essentially. Yeah. And you've got an amazing tool. I always say no one deals with crazy like you can handle it so well. So some interesting things come through in time, not just in the clinic, but also like in rehabs and addiction work. And you've got the life experience to handle it. Is there anything else you want to say about mental health? Like, what's your advice to someone who's struggling with any of these things at the moment and thinking where to even start?
Pick one thing and just do it over and over and over and over.
Don't just hop around and try a lot of different things or start and stop.
Yeah.
You've got to go deep with something that's working.
And when I say over and over, I mean years to really sort something out. Like years. Yeah. It's not a quick, especially if you don't want to be medicated.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, if you don't, like, a lot of people, like, I just want to do it naturally. Great. I'm happy for you.
Possible.
But it's a fucking long road.
Yeah.
Medication is way quicker.
Yeah.
And if someone is like, I should have been medicated,
but
I wasn't. But that's my journey. Yeah.
But it was painful. That was hard.
It was hard. You really
went through rough times.
It was a really hard time.
And I think people will understand that more when they read your book.
Yeah. And I don't think, like, the reason I didn't get medicated is because I didn't want to replace drugs with drugs. But if you use them, if you can find a doctor that will help you properly, and like, you can use them temporarily, you don't have to be on them forever.
No, but you really should be doing other things to your body.
You should be, if you use them in the correct way, how they were intended. Short term. Most of them are only supposed to be used for a couple of months.
They're Band-Aids.
Yeah. And so they're not meant, like, when you look at the actual research of them, they're only meant to be taken for a short period of time. People aren't supposed to be on them for 10 years plus.
Yeah.
So
that would cause a lot of separation in the body.
It causes massive separation in the body. And so it's like, but they work. So take them.
If you need to.
If you need to. Yeah. But if you want to do it naturally, like, it's fucking hard work, and you need to be committed.
And you need a solid team.
It's depending on how bad it is. Like, if it's just a little bit of anxiety, like mild anxiety, it's nothing, and you can work through it in a couple of months.
Yeah.
But if it's a severe trauma, or like a severe bipolar, or a severe schizophrenia, or did I say trauma? Like, it's going to take a long time. Severe depressions. But again, it comes down to the right diagnostics. And again, I've said this many times in other podcasts. Is it deficient? Is it excess? Is the person hot or cold? Like, actually treating the person, not the depression, not the anxiety. Like, I don't treat those things.
Mm.
I don't treat someone for depression or anxiety. I treat a person for how they present in clinic. So one day may be different from the next.
Yeah.
And so it's always taking into account, is the person deficient or excess? And in general, it's usually easier to treat someone in excess than it is in deficiency, just as a general rule.
Yeah.
But it's not always true. And so it's like taking that into account and using those things. But like, I'm not adverse to someone going down the Western path,
Yeah.
because
If you need to,
if you need to, you need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice. And yeah, again, also like if you like that whole about like finding something and double down, and I think that's what you really cover really well in like the audits
Yeah.
and like starting with those audits that you can find in school in terms of like the lifestyle and
Yeah.
environment and those sorts of things. You can really hone in on what's going to be the best medicine for you right now to start with, double down on. And
Yeah.
as always, if anyone actually needs more support for you or for someone else, like we can do a consult with you, even online, just to know where to start.
Yep.
Sometimes people just come to you for that as well, to figure out, hey, what do I do here with this person or with myself?
Yeah.
And I feel like the advice would be very similar for someone who's supporting someone with mental health, isn't it? It's like you've got to do all these same things for yourself. You need to be strong and healthy to be able to support someone in a situation
Yep.
that you can't necessarily control.
It's, if you're living with someone with a mental health issue, you need to be looking after your own health, just how it is.
Yeah, you have to
You
be.
you can't serve someone else because they're going to eat everything that you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just got to fill your own cup until it's overflowing. It's like you're essentially a practitioner. If you've got someone, like if a family member's got a mental health issue, then they need more energy.
Yeah.
And so the only way to give them more is to have it more yourself. Yeah.
Your self-care is like actually your number
Yeah.
one priority.
Yeah. And I'm not adverse to like
Having boundaries.
boundaries. It's like, get out. Like, I left my family.
And then moved in with them again.
Yeah, exactly.
When the timing was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for a really interesting discussion around mental health. And as always, please send questions. Like, message us on Instagram, put a note in school. If you haven't already joined school, join our school and check out all the resources there. And yeah, ask us questions. We're so happy to answer them. We love them. We love questions.
Love answers more.
Good questions, though. You have to have a good question to get a good answer. Thanks. We really